Welcome to K-Drama School. I'm your host, Grace Jung, and class is now in session. Wow, you guys, we're heading towards the closure of January. I feel like this month flew by real fast. I think I achieved a lot of things and at the same time achieved nothing. That's how it always feels, I suppose, living this artist's life. I've been having a lot of intense dreams lately. They're very, very complicated. They actually kind of border on nightmares because I feel like I'm always like close, like at the edge of something, and then I don't get that thing. Like, for instance, I've been dreaming about a lot of ex-boyfriends, like guys that I don't really think about, but it's like we're back together and then we're about to fuck and then we just don't fuck. Like, what is that? What kind of blue balling kind of nightmare dream is that? Why? It's a dream. It should just happen because come on, but it just never ends up happening. It's very annoying. And the other kind of dream I keep having is missing my flight. That's more of a common dream. Missing flights, that's a dream associated with anxiety. But in this case, it's like almost every night I'm having this kind of dream where I miss a flight and I don't know what's going on. It's very bizarre. It's very weird. I think I am being pushed to become more self reliant as an artist, as a writer, as a visual artist. I am currently planning my first ever art show. It's going to be a stand up comedy and art show. It's going to be on February 11th at this art gallery space called My G. It's on West Pico in LA. If you're in town, please come. Please come and see our comedy show, enjoy our artwork. I'm probably going to be selling prints of my artwork as well. So come through and check out LA comedians who are also visual artists. And the lineup specifically has other stand up comics who happen to be, you know, like comic strip artists and animators and toy designers, like mural artists. We're all different kinds of expressionists, I suppose. So come through and check it out. Check out our work and catch a great show. It's gonna be free, but the show will be donation based. So we'll just be accepting whatever donations you have for us, and then we're gonna split it amongst ourselves. So that's gonna be on February 11th. Please come through if you're in town. Today I'm talking about a show called When a Man Loves. It's an NBC Korean drama from the year 2013. It stars Song Seung-eun and Shin Se-kyung. And it is written by Kim In-young, who wrote quite a few Korean dramas, some of which include my favorites from the year 2000 and 2001. Truth, which came out in the year 2000, stars Chiju and Ryu Si-won. And a year later, she wrote Delicious Proposal, which stars Son Ye-jin. And her shows tend to lean towards the hyper excessive and camp. So Truth and When a Man Loves are both pretty campy, pretty ridiculous. They include a lot of that K-drama trope like memory loss and amnesia after car accidents, okay? So that's definitely her in her wheelhouse. She also wrote a show called Unkind Women, which stars some behemoth actresses like Kim Hye-ja, Cheshira, and Do Ji-won. And it's a really funny, heartfelt kind of show with bizarre plot lines, but it's still somewhat couched in practicality relative to some of the earlier shows that she's written. Kim In-young also wrote a more recent Korean drama called Black Knight, which also stars Shin Se-kyung, and it is such a weird show because it came out a year or two after Goblin became a mega hit, and it attempts at a similar sort of goblin-esque fantasy tale, but it wound up being such a crazy show. Like it just didn't make any sense. And there's this one scene in Black Knight that I cannot erase from my head no matter how much I try. Like when I saw it happen, my mouth was open and I was just like breathing out of my mouth the whole time. Like I think I was yelling. It's such a crazy scene. So in this scene, in Black Knight, you have an older witch who takes a younger witch and starts spanking her across the ass for misbehaving. And oh my god, I will never forget that image. It's like a historically insane scene. I don't think I'll ever get over it. I'm like a different person after I saw that scene. Like, I'm no longer the same. I love Korean dramas because the writers are like Kim Min-young, and she weaves a crazy tale. She's balls to the wall batshit. It's excessive, insane, and it's glorious. When a Man Loves has some intensely camp moments as well. Very, very crazy. Like, how can this even be happening? This should not be happening. Like, it really pushes the envelope at times. And what also impresses me about this show is Hong Seung-un, because Song Seung-un has been this pretty boy all his life since the 90s when he came out. And his entire career was built on his good looks, right? And he's made some radical choices as an actor to fend off this perception of like the pretty boy image, right? Like he's done some really ridiculous TV shows that when I'm watching them, I'm just like, I can't believe he's willing to go there. And he always does. Song Seung-un's also taken some risks. Like he's done a very sexy movie called Obsessed, which came out in 2014. It's got a lot of explicit sex scenes in that. And I think Song Seung-un's an interesting actor because of this desire to break expectations of himself. Like he doesn't just play a standard handsome pretty boy lover type. He really goes beyond that by playing these insane, complicated, radically weird, and zany sorts of characters. And his choices at times do seem laughable. But because he's willing to go there, I respect his acting chops and I respect him as an artist. That's right. You can be camp and crazy and still be an artist. Absolutely. Absolutely. Today's guest is JP Puthenveetil, who is a young comic based in Los Angeles. He's a very interesting guy. He's got some interesting perspectives. He's got some great answers for the flashcard questions. Let's talk to JP. Oh, you have a cat.
Yeah, I have a little cat.
Hi, cat.
His name is Baz.
Hi, Baz. Cute. Like Baz Luhrmann?
No, her full name is Bazinga Bunny.
How old are you, JP?
I'm 25.
Holy shit, you're really young.
I'm a little small child. I'm not that young. I mean, I don't know, I've done stuff that old people do.
Like what? Name
I've
them.
rented a car.
Okay, that is a grown-up
So
thing.
I've lived life.
Lived life.
Yeah, I've worked jobs. I don't know. I've paid
Yeah.
rent. I've done adult things.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Those are all adult things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not stuff that children do.
I raise
Well, not
a
anymore.
cat.
You do raise a cat.
I do raise a cat. She's very
Hi, Baz.
Hey, Baz.
Cute. That's a very chill cat.
Yeah,
Cat's
she
letting you do
doesn't
that.
care a lot.
Oh, wow. Aw, that's sweet. How long have you been living in LA?
I moved in LA in 2019, so like in May of 2019.
Whoa, okay.
So like 2 years, maybe 3 years. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know how
So,
long
okay.
ago that was. I think that's 3 years.
It's gonna be 3 years in 2022.
Okay, cool.
Uh, yeah. Well, wow. So, okay, so you moved to LA and then literally like less than a year later, you're in lockdown.
Yeah, no, that was fun. That
Mm.
was fun for me. I was
Yeah.
actually working at Disney Channel when I got when lockdown happened, so I got fired.
Oh,
Uh,
shit.
which is now I don't have a problem with now because it's not really what I wanted to do. But at the time, I was like, oh darn.
Yeah. It's painful to get fired. What were you
Mhm.
doing at Disney Plus?
I was at Disney Channel, so it was like
Oh,
I
Disney
was in their
Channel.
animation department, and I
Okay.
was an assistant to some of the VPs in current series,
Got it.
which was cool. But it was like because I wanted to be a writer in kids television, which is still something I want to do. But the annoying thing about like going the assistant route is you have to lie about what you want. Because if you want to like stay at the company, you pretty much if you're like I was the assistant to producers, so pretty much I had to say, hey, I want to be a producer, and then
Oh
maybe
shit.
2 years later say, never mind, I want to be a writer, and hopefully they liked me enough to transfer. I do want to be a writer, or I want to write in kids television, but
Mm,
yeah, I mean, like, it's nice to work there and be close to it, but it's like you're not really doing what you want to do. And it would have
okay.
been like it would have been like 5 years of work just to like maybe become a writer's assistant, and like that I would
Oh,
have had to like lie. When you're an assistant, if you want to be a writer, you have to lie about what you want to do. Like I was an assistant to producers, so if I told them like when I if I got there and I was like, hey, I really want to be a writer, they would have looked for any excuse to fire me because they're trying
yeah.
to breed their successor.
Right, right.
So I pretty much
They
had to be like, I want your
yeah.
job.
I heard that a lot. There's another comic. He used to work for like one of the networks, one of the big networks, like maybe NBC or something, and he was in TV development. And his goal was, of course, to one day be writing TV shows. But if you work in admin, then they hate having people
Yeah,
who are interested in the creative pursuit. Like it's very much segregated like that. I don't know why it needs to be, but it is like that. And yeah, it's kind of like I'm sure you've heard this rumor, but like at the Comedy Store when waitresses try to become a comic, like Mitzi
yeah,
Shore used to hate that. She used to get mad at that. It's similar to that. It's like whatever task you came in to execute, just focus on that and don't think
yeah.
about anything else. Like that's the expectation.
It's definitely like stay in your lane. I think that like for the whole industry, there's this whole like you're not. I mean, you're not supposed to mess
Mm-hmm.
with people. You're like it
Mm-hmm.
was a comic. If I see like a big comic that I like, I'm not supposed to say shit to them, and they
Mm.
can do whatever they want to me. Like
Mm.
we're
Right.
pretty. I think like young comics are pretty much being hazed until the day they make it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's true. And it's not just comedy. It's like in any with any job, with any institution, with any organization. Like the hazing never stops, I feel like.
Yeah,
And you know, in those circumstances, it's like I I mean, I admire what you did, which is just that you kind of let that job go. I mean, it ended for you,
yeah,
but you let it go. I'm sure you were able to collect unemployment, which is great.
yeah. That was nice.
And you still get to be a comic and you still get to retain your dream, so good for
For
you.
sure. And like get stepping away from that job allowed me to get into comedy more and grind harder with it, which was nice.
Yeah.
Now I do like I have a weird job now. I do graphic video I do like motion graphics for board game tutorials.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like I work for a YouTube company who board game publishers will send us their games and be like, "Can you make like a tutorial for it?" And I'll do all
Yeah.
that in After Effects.
That sounds kind of fun. That sounds
It's
pretty
fun.
dope.
It's more tedious than anything, but it's like it's easy and I can stay home and kind of do it whenever I want so I can work my schedule.
That's great.
Yeah,
Can't ask
it's
for
nice.
more. Can't ask for more. Yeah, yeah. Where did you move from?
I I grew up in North Carolina and then I went to
Mm,
college in Nashville, Tennessee.
holy shit.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
I moved here.
So you're like a proper southerner.
Yeah, vaguely. My dad's Indian, so we grew up in like a weird southern household and I went to Belmont University, which
Mm.
is I don't know if you know, it's the country music school. Like
Whoa.
it's the country music school where like Brad Paisley and like fucking all those people went. And
Whoa.
I went there for film,
Uh-huh.
which is a dumb decision to do on my part. I guess it
Really?
was. I mean, it was kind of cool like at the time to go to film school, and
Yeah.
now I'm just like, I don't like movies that much.
What?
I like movies, but I don't. I think like that wasn't the right place for me. And when you're in an area that's like when you're just surrounded by a ton of peers who are way I don't know. I got really annoyed with that pretentious like we should all go watch The Godfather vibe.
Oh,
And like I don't
okay.
want to watch The Godfather,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's with every film school. Every film school, they make you feel that way. They make you feel like you're an idiot for not liking Annie Hall, or make you feel like an idiot for
right?
liking, I don't know, SpongeBob, whatever it is that you like.
Yeah,
But
I got
that's what it's built on.
yeah. It's like until people can make their shit, they have to like go off of their knowledge and their big brains. I remember the
Yes.
summer after the old the really bad Suicide Squad with Will Smith when
Uh-huh.
that came out. I liked it, and I was like, I liked it. I thought this movie was fine, and I had fun with the montages, and I was
Yeah.
looking forward to it. And I went back to school, and it was like I liked it, and everyone was like, "Fuck you, sir! You
Right.
can't like that movie."
Uh-huh.
And it was just like, what the fuck? I like I don't know. I think bad movies are more fun than good movies, mostly because you get to
Yeah.
cry.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. And it's like every movie has its merits for whatever they're
Hmm.
good at, you know? Like Suicide Squad is known for its colors and its graphics
Yeah,
and its effects and you know,
I
other
also think
movies are more plot based, other movies are more realist or the acting or the direction or the lighting, like, it's
yeah.
like everything depends on how you decide to look at it.
To me, it's also
Um,
like knowing. I mean, just like being out here and at least going to film school. I don't know everything. I'm not really in the film business as
uh-huh.
much as I
Uh-huh.
like. I'm not PAing, but
Uh-huh.
I do know what it takes to like make a movie, and it's like
Right.
a lot. It's years of work. So,
Yeah.
which is why it is insane for me for anybody to say anything bad about a movie. When
Yeah.
somebody's like, "This movie sucks," I'm just like, "You aren't this mean to murderers." Like somebody will be like, they murdered a bunch of people, and they're like, "Fuck that guy." But if somebody makes a movie that disappoints you, they're like, "This is the devil. This is Satan."
That's a really good point. That's true. People take art very personally. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing how they take art personally that they did not themselves create.
No, they
That's the
just like it.
funny, fucked up part. Yeah. They either love it or they hate it or they're apathetic to it.
It's
But the
like
fact
when,
is,
yeah,
everything takes a lot of time and effort.
everything does. It's like when people are mad at Star Wars. They're like so pissed that the new Star Wars movie sucks, and I'm like, you just watched them. You just what that was like. That's a cumulative 9 hours of your life. You could
Mm,
have. I'm sure you watched it more than once, but like, what? You didn't make the movie. You weren't involved in the
right.
process. Why are you so upset that it's
Exactly.
bad?
Exactly. Exactly. Because it's like imagine being the creator of that movie or that series, and you yourself as the creator, imagine you being the creator and being disappointed in the work that you just
Yeah.
put out.
Do you think they know it's bad like before they release it?
I think so. I mean, I heard quite a few people say like, oh, sometimes like I'm on set and I'm working on something and I have no idea where the hell is headed, or sometimes
Yeah.
I'm on set and we're making a film. Like, Matt Damon said that. He said that about it was like his Chinese movie, like The
Oh,
Great
The
Wall
Great
or
Wall. I
something.
remember that one.
Yeah, and he was just saying how, like, he really knew that this film was a train wreck because
Yeah.
he was part of it. Like, he saw all the things that were going wrong with it. But it's like once that I mean, something as massive as a film production with like millions, if not tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in place, is like once that ball gets rolling, the only thing you have to do is just do all the work and make sure you finish it.
Yeah.
That's all you really can
Yeah,
do.
I mean that's all you can do. Do you ever like feel like do you ever write a joke and then bring it to a stage and you're just like it's a bad joke and you're not even excited about telling it, but you're just like let's throw it out there anyways?
um,
Or are you like do you write it when you write a joke, are you like sure? Are you like I know this is funny? And do you like believe
I
in it?
I try when I'm writing a joke, I usually like if I'm sitting down and writing, I usually make sure that there is a punchline.
Yeah.
That's really the only goal. And once I have that, at least a punchline, then I'll bring it up on stage and then I'll riff around it.
Hmm.
And you know, um that'll create more tags or whatever. But I usually make sure that there is at the very least a punchline.
Yeah.
Unless I'm just only going up and riffing, because sometimes I'll do that. Like,
Yeah,
have you
for
done
sure.
like set list mics? Like, I love those set list
Yeah,
mics, but
yeah, the improv mics, and I like doing
yeah,
those. I love those mics. Are you
yeah,
talking? Because I used to watch like the Meltdown set list.
uh-huh.
Did you ever watch that? The Nerdist used to have a show. Oh, it was
No, I
called The
don't know
Set
that.
List. It was my favorite, one of my favorite comedy shows because it'd be like Robin Williams and Eliza and just big
Wow.
comics would go into the
Uh-huh.
Meltdown, and they'd
Yeah.
have it would be one of those like set list kind of things where
Yeah.
but it was the best prompts. It would be like
Yeah.
Kyle Kinane has one of my favorites. He got like I sell breast milk wholesale, or it'd be
Uh-huh.
like fake erection pranks, or
Uh-huh.
the inner monologue of a dissected butterfly. And I'm like,
Yeah.
just wait, because I do the improv mic. I think I go I live right next to Fourth Wall, so I go there
Okay.
most every day and do their
Uh-huh.
mic, improv mic,
Yeah.
and it can be fun.
Yeah. I love those mics. I usually write some of my best material just doing those kinds of mics.
Oh yeah, that's
Or
the best way to do it. Or just
right?
talking to
Yeah.
a friend. That like
Yeah,
riffing
yeah.
with somebody is the best way to like write.
Uh-huh.
I
And
uh
that's how comics talk all the time basically, but yeah.
I play a
Yeah.
game with my roommate who's a comic. I don't even know Forrest Wheeler. Uh
No.
but we play a game called Things You Can't Say, which is just
Mhm.
we'll try to one up each other on things we're not allowed to say on. We should just can never say this on stage. Like
Okay.
keep this away. This should not
Yeah.
be. But it's just terrible things, and it's a fun way to like develop ideas for like darker premises. I don't do a lot of dark
Yeah.
jokes, but he does. But
Yeah.
it's like I'm trying to think of one. Oh, one time one of our friends was hanging out with us, and he said, "I think that some midgets are magic." Some probably are.
I like that exercise. Yeah, 'cause it's true like, I mean you went to film school so maybe you know this, but you know how like back in the day, like in the 10s, 20s, 30s,
Yeah.
40s, 50s, they used to censor a lot of films. Like they had like the production code administration and they would decide what is allowed to be shown or said and what is not. And they would censor everything. They would censor homosexuality, they would censor black and white miscegenation, they would censor cursing, of course. They would censor anything that implied sex, and so it was like a lot of sanitized films. And what all those creators were doing was like ways of getting around those censorship codes and
Yeah.
still portray things like homosexuality, black and white relations, sex, some kind of innuendo, right? Like they were
Mhm.
really trying to get around those codes but still do it. So it's like as comics, maybe we kind of have a similar task, or we have a
Yeah.
similar sort of role in society, in that yeah, there are certain words that we cannot say, there are certain concepts that are taboo, but how
Mhm.
do we get around that and still make the joke land and still talk about it? Because just because we don't talk about it doesn't mean that it's not happening. It's still
Oh
happening,
yeah,
right?
and that's the thing. Is just like that's the difference between like a good comic and maybe a comic that's trying to go for a shock value. Like, like I was doing a joke a couple weeks in a row where it was
Mhm.
fun, but I'm kind of putting it away because it's dumb and it's shock value-y. I don't know if it's a good joke,
Okay.
but I would just go up and be like, I think Kobe faked it. Uh,
Mm.
and like, how do
Okay.
you, like, uh, a helicopter into a mountain? That's a bit dramatic. That doesn't seem like.
Uh-huh.
How do you hit a
Uh-huh.
mountain? Was his daughter flying? That was a joke.
Wow.
And
Okay.
that went over really well in like a dark
Mhm.
room with comics, and I tried it at two shows
Exactly.
and nothing.
No. Yeah.
So,
No, that's the thing. That's the other thing. That's the other problem that you run into is like comics, we have like a higher threshold for shocking
oh
things
yeah,
because we're just kind of dulled out at this point. And so in order to make like an open mic room laugh, we have to sort of push the envelope pretty hard.
right.
But that's not a good barometer when it comes to testing the waters for what a mainstream audience might like in, say, North Carolina or in fucking Tennessee or wherever
It's
the
also
fuck, right?
like I I see there's huge comics who like put out albums really consistently or specials like maybe every couple of years. There's even some who put out every year something
Mhm.
new. And
Mhm.
like a lot of younger comics are like struggling to get their first hour together or even their
Mm.
first half hour of like tight solid material. And it's like, okay, how are these huge comics that are getting hours out every single year just like that much better? And I'm like, first of all, yeah, they probably are because they're like good and they've been doing it for a while. But also, when you're performing your newly written jokes only, and when you're not having to do open mics and you're booked all the time, and you're doing the store or improv, and you're doing your newly written jokes in front of live audiences, you're probably keeping a lot more. Like I feel like
Hmm.
open micers end up probably in the time we're open micing, we'll probably throw away some decent jokes just because open
Yeah.
micers didn't like them, and then we never got to try
Yeah.
them in front of audiences.
That's true. That's
But
true. It's a fine balance, you know? Is and ultimately, you're the only person who can decide, right? Like,
yeah,
so you're talking about this Kobe Bryant joke, and it's like it didn't land so well with the audiences. It's like, okay, but Kobe Bryant's death is still
and
relatively
it's
new.
L.A. Yeah,
And it's LA. It's like LA's hero. And I have like really old jokes that I wrote, long time ago, and then I would stop using them just because I got sick of them or
right.
because like I didn't know how I felt about them. And then time passes and then I dig it back out and then I'm like, "Oh, I could deliver this joke a little bit better now," you know? So and I get a different perspective on it. So that happens too.
Oh yeah, it's like
So,
especially if you, I might
yeah.
have like a one liner that
Mhm.
I like had by itself, and it's like kind of working by itself, but then I shelf it, and maybe a year
Yeah,
later I think of the joke that, and I'm like, okay, this actually fits right there, and that's always
exactly.
nice.
Exactly, that's the best. It's like we're trying to we have like a puzzle box, but we're
Mhm.
creating the pieces as we move along to make it the full
Yeah,
picture, you
I
know?
actually really like. It's fun to go up certain times, especially at mics and stuff, and just kind of like riff and like decide what. But I'm actually a really big fan of like building out your set list and like kind
Ah,
of like organizing, like especially for a show, like organizing exactly
yes.
because like you can then once everything's like in front of you and on paper, you can see like actually this joke would be funnier if before that, and then like you can
Mhm.
like make jokes like kind of like joke math. You're like
Yeah.
figuring out how things fit together, and it'll like a good joke will like come across even better if it's like surrounded by the right things.
Yeah, for sure. Did you start comedy out in out in Tennessee or North Carolina?
I
Or did you
started
start it
in
out here?
Nashville, and I didn't.
Oh, what was that scene like?
It was cool. It was interesting. It was there weren't a lot of shows being produced. Like
Huh.
there were a lot of mics, and I did the mics, but I don't think I ever really even got booked while I was in Nashville. I did it for about 2 years in Nashville
Okay.
and just did mics, and they had Zanies. That was the big club.
Yeah.
Uh, but there just wasn't like there wasn't really an indie scene of like production and shows and
Okay.
stuff. And I really didn't know
Okay.
enough to produce my own at the time. Uh,
Right.
but it was like yeah, it was just miking, and there were some cool people. But like I think the big thing was just like try to get in it with Zanies and like try to get into that
Uh-huh.
club. And I never, I was also like not all in Nashville. I was like maybe doing a couple mics a week.
Mm.
And then when I came to LA, I was similar. Was like a couple mics a week and maybe a show. And then like
Mhm.
pandemic is when I was like, okay, like I just stopped working at Disney, and I was like, and I started doing some more stand up, and I was
Mhm.
like, okay, this is what I want, and I was like, okay, now every day is this
Mm.
thing.
So you were doing it via Zoom a lot
I did a
probably?
lot of
Like,
Zoom comedy, and I'm
wow.
so happy that I'm not anymore. But I did like Zoom
Yeah.
festivals, and like
Whoa.
I did Dat Fans show a lot. It
Whoa.
was a whole, and it was I don't even know what I was doing. It was just because I wanted to do
Yeah.
something, and there was some opportunities popping up with it, so I was like, let's just do it. And
Yeah.
so I like because that that fan,
Mhm.
yeah, he was like I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing, so I just listened to whatever people told me to do, and I did them. And he was like, you need to have a solid background behind you, and so I and you need to be standing up. And I have a fake microphone, and I did all of that, and but I didn't have like a way to like mount like a solid background behind me. So what I would do is every night before I did like a Zoom mic or a Zoom show, I would like duct tape this black curtain I had to my ceiling. Just it was like a
Wow.
30-minute process of duct taping a curtain to my ceiling, and it would like fall during shows and like on me, and it was like it didn't even look good because like when I was done I would just bundle it all up and the tape would get all over the curtain, and
Yeah.
it looked
Yeah.
messy, and it was just like but that's what I would do for like I did that for like I don't know peak Zoom comedy times. I was doing all that.
Jesus. Oh my god. Okay. So you put a lot into it.
I did, and I don't know if I got a lot out of it. I think I got like my joy of performing, and it was like
Yeah.
it helped launch me into when things started to open back up. It helped me
Mhm.
like want to do that, and launched
Mhm.
me into doing that. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was rough.
I I know. I felt similarly when I was doing Zoom shows and Zoom mics. I was just like, I'm just keeping up with this because if I don't, I feel like I'll go insane. So it
Yeah,
was really more of like a lifeline rather than me being getting good at comedy because you're not going to get good at comedy doing it via Zoom. And
no,
also all the jokes would be in front of me, you know? Like my memory was shot to hell during the pandemic.
oh yeah, I
Like I
was
couldn't
smoking a lot of weed.
yeah, I couldn't tell like what time was anymore. And so I couldn't remember anything. I couldn't memorize anything. So I would have the jokes in front of me. And so when things started opening back up and I was starting to do live shows again, I had to sort of like rework my brain into remembering my set list. Like the
Hmm.
first several shows that I did, I remember losing everything, like going totally blank. You know, even though I have like years of material that's there that I've been doing, it would just go blank. And I would have to like fill it with crowd work until my memory would be jogged to the joke again, you know?
Yeah,
But yeah.
did you ever try crowd work over Zoom?
I mean, when I did Zoom shows, I would do crowd work almost like 80% of the time because it's just hard to see or tell like who the fuck is laughing and, who's
Yeah,
into it.
these are just single
So
people out.
yeah, I would just like read the names off the thing and make fun of the names, or I would like see somebody like looking funny and I would just make fun of them. And
Hmm.
that's when they would always light back up because the way that they're looking at it is like they're not seeing a live show, they're looking at a screen.
Right.
And the way that we treat screens is like we treat it like it's just another member of the family. It's just like you're just there. You're not even a live person. You're just there.
Yeah.
Like I can do it while doing dishes. I could watch you while taking out the garbage. I could leave you on in the background.
I
That's how
used to
people
like
treat screens.
I used to just
Yeah,
like hang
yeah.
with my roommate while I was doing a Zoom show if I wasn't on. I would like mute my whole
Yeah.
self.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. We do a lot of different shit. Like we don't focus on our screens.
I
Our
barely
screens
laugh
are
when I watch
secondary.
like a special on Netflix. Like I'm watching it
Exactly.
and like this is funny, but
Exactly.
I'm not even reacting.
Exactly. It's very, very hard to actually laugh out loud when you're watching a screen. But that's the difference. It's like I don't know. I was kind of talking to faculty members at USC about this because they're like very at the forefront of digital media and like VR and AR technology. And as soon as the lockdown happened, I was thinking like there's gonna come a time when a comedian like through VR AR projection will be able to appear in the living rooms of
Yeah.
everybody just in their homes. That day will come. But what aspect of liveness are they going to focus on simulating? Is it eye contact?
Yeah.
Is it the laughter feedback? Because those things are very important for the comedians in order to do their jobs well and get the crowd to laugh,
To
right?
be your best for sure, you need like all that stuff. You need to be I mean, like I guess if they did like that kind of thing, it would be would the comedian it would the idea be that the comedian could also like interact and see their audience. That would be interesting. Because it would be one thing for
Exactly.
them like to just be on a stage and then
Yeah,
them just having them like digitally projected into people's homes. But
exactly.
like yeah, to like have like
Exactly.
private little shows for people.
You have to have some element of interactivity.
Hmm.
I guess kind of like what Oprah and Obama did during the pandemic. Like they were both projected, but they were simulated and shown as if they're sitting in the same room.
Yeah.
Like I remember that. So like that's like one step towards something like that. But um, with comedy, it's like there's so many nuances to a live show that I just feel like can't get picked up with VR AR technology until very, very like way
It has to
later
be
when things are
good.
super advanced,
And I don't even think current
to
technology
be
is that
good.
good. I mean, it's great, but it's also like it all breaks.
It's not.
It all like I've never met a single person who's like had a piece of technology that has worked the whole time. It all fucks up.
Yeah, it does. ironically, you know what used to work all the time? Like, just you could count on it. Those old school analog tube televisions.
Really
Like those tube TVs, like they never broke. They never break. But
interesting.
flat screens, they break like lifespan is like 5 years,
Yeah,
at most.
yeah,
It's
for
just so
sure.
wasteful. It's really, really wasteful. Like back in the day, families would buy one TV and have it for an entire lifetime.
I build
But
like I build
yeah,
like
you're
a
right. The
fucking
technology's not as reliable.
no, it's not. I mean, like I build a PC like when I can, like to video game and do graphics editing, and like I have to replace parts every 5 years.
Mhm.
It's annoying and it's expensive. But I wish people would stop like trying to get new stuff and just fix the shit we have and make it work better.
It's all a big illusion, right? It's like, do you actually need this new thing because it is better, or is it just like a trend thing? Is
No,
it,
yeah.
you know, like it's more of a waste thing,
People
really.
love
It's
people like
it's
that dopamine hit of getting a new thing. And like I love it. I'm terrible with money. I buy shit all the time. I shouldn't, and I do it. It's terrible.
yeah,
But it's like it's a
yeah.
hit. It's a dopamine rush.
It is. It is. It is. It's ridiculous how simple we are as creatures. Um that, actually that waste is the thing that causes us momentary bliss, and that we are willing to do that.
Yeah.
So okay, so you moved from Tennessee, you moved from Nashville. You say your father's Indian.
Uh-huh.
Um like, what was that like growing up as an half
My
Indian
my
American?
family, yeah, my family is very American. Like even my grandpa, my dad is a first generation, so he's Indian, but he was born here.
Okay.
My grandparents came
Right.
over. My grandparents came over
Got it.
like in their 20s, so they adapted
Okay.
to American. My grandpa's a doctor, so they adapted
Uh-huh.
to American life immediately. Like it's annoying because
Uh-huh.
like I want to be able to hear my parents and my grandparents talk about racism and like having trouble. And my dad's like, nah. My dad pretty much lived the life of a white person. Like he didn't experience that shit, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm not. So I just have to live the life of a white person. I don't get to go around and be like, you
Uh.
don't know what my family. My family didn't go through shit. Like they didn't do. There's nothing really to. They didn't have to go through the hard immigration process. I guess there's not. I don't know.
Ah.
North Carolina doesn't have a lot of Indian problems. I guess
I guess technically, what's his face? Aziz Ansari, isn't he from North
he's
Carolina?
from South Carolina.
Oh,
So
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
same thing. I mean, South Carolina
different
is
state.
more racist. It just like it's as racist as it is South. Like it's just like it gets
Okay.
progressively more as you go down. Uh,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like yeah, no, Aziz. I think Aziz was first generation. I was second, and my mom's very white, and obviously I'm very white. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Mhm.
I wish I could say like because I say that I'm Indian and shit, but I wish I could like
Mhm.
say it in a way where it was like actually diverse. Like I'm not really because like my family doesn't. We don't other than like being from a place. It
Yeah.
it like I don't have any of the. I wouldn't have anything to bring up at a meeting. Like the Indian meeting where we all talk about what life is like that's different for us Indian Americans. Like I don't know. I didn't
Yeah.
nothing. I go to India every 4 years though, which is fun.
Okay. Yeah, that's something.
Yeah, it's
And I
cool.
think it's also something to talk about that experience, to be like, you're not, it's like, yeah, maybe you expect me to give you a sad story about growing up in the South with an Indian family, but it's like I don't have that actually. And then you could talk about your unique experience as not having had that. Let's keep going.
Very cool
I want to ask you some flashcard questions.
for sure.
It's based on a show called When a Man Loves. It's like a very campy, soapy kind of Korean drama. Okay. So I'm
Okay.
just going to ask you questions based on scenes from the show, and you just answer like what you would do if you were in that situation. Okay.
All right.
So let's say you're a young woman named Bido,
For sure.
and your parents run a small bookstore, and you have a younger brother who's trying to become a K-pop star. and you're studying and you're working hard to move up in the world. And your father takes out a loan with some loan sharks because he's struggling with his bookstore. And a man named Taesang comes in and just destroys your house and your business, beats up your dad, demanding payment. Is all violent. What do you do?
Oh, what do I? Okay, in that. All right. Let me try to get this together. So my father, he's a simple bookstore man
Mm-hmm.
who's got in with some loan sharks. So he's not okay. Is my father the only person that's been beat up? Is
Yeah,
is my brother and my mother? Okay, I
they're fine.
think I I'm just watching my father get beaten up. I don't know what to do when somebody's getting beaten up in front of me. So I guess I would just like I wouldn't help anybody out. I wouldn't be very helpful, so I would probably I don't know, my house is destroyed. This I maybe I just kill myself. This seems pretty pretty my dad's got beaten up. My brother wants to be a K-pop star. I don't want to be related to that. Like
Okay.
I
All
mean, I
right.
don't. Maybe that wouldn't be the first thing I'd do, but I don't know. I don't have money. I'm a young Korean girl. Where am I supposed to get
Uh-huh.
money to pay back this loan shark? I guess I would. I would. I would find. I guess in order to pay him back, I would try to
Yeah.
jumpstart my brother's stupid K-pop star career. The sooner
Oh,
my brother gets famous, the sooner I can stop this guy from beating up my dad, which I assume is what he's just going to
that's true.
continually do until he's just
Mm-hmm.
gonna keep punching him until my brother's famous, and we'll send him some
Mm-hmm.
money. So I would bring my brother to. Is it easier to make it as a pop star in Korea? I bring him to like
No.
Scandinavia, somewhere
Okay.
somewhere that doesn't have a lot of diversity and a lot of talent. And I bring my
Okay.
brother. I don't. Hopefully, my brother is good. We might have to pay for some singing lessons. If he's shit, then we're fucked. But
Okay.
yeah, I think I get him famous in
Okay.
Scandinavia, take all his money, give the minimal
Wow.
amount I can to my dad, and live
Okay.
life.
Shit. All right. So you just become his manager. Okay. That's
Yeah.
a very practical, pragmatic solution. Okay. Let's say you're Mido again. You're the same chick. All right.
Okay.
The man who beat the shit out of your dad tells you that he actually digs you. He likes you. He wants
Oh,
you
is
to
like
be
into
his
me.
girl. Yeah, he wants you to be his girlfriend.
How old am
And
I?
you're like early 20s, early 20s.
Okay.
And he's like early 30s. But he promises to protect you and your family from here on out from any other loan sharks and thugs. What do you do?
Oh, so he's just like into me now. That's
Mhm.
fun. I uh I think do I guess I don't have to promise and do yeah, I'll fuck him uh right away. Uh I just like lock it down. I
Wow.
don't want to. I don't know if it's a temporary offer, so I just lock
Okay.
down this offer right away. This seems. I have no. I'm promiscuous. I have no fear of my body. I'll fuck him right there in front of everyone. Does that mean that my dad's like trying to? What other loan sharks is my dad fucked with?
I mean, with the gang world, it's like it's
The
always
whole town.
it's a messy thing.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I just think that if my dad's bookstore wasn't doing well, he's just let capitalism take it. Ugh. Why fucking do this? Why put us through this? Now your daughter's fucking the man that just beat you up in front of you. You put this on yourself.
Yeah, that's true. All of
He
this is true.
deserves it.
It's kind of his fault. You're right. Okay.
And his son's a
Let
pop star. You're obviously a bad father.
Oh
Or a
God.
wannabe pop star.
Okay. Well, it's a whole industry. So they do have trainees, like K-pop
Okay.
trainees. It's like a whole
All right.
concept there. But yeah, it's you don't make any money from being a trainee. You just hemorrhage more money. Okay, okay. So let's say you're a young man named Chehi.
Finally.
You're like in your mid-20s. You have an older brother figure named Taesang who took care of you all your life. Taesang is that gangster guy.
Is he the
Taesang,
gangster guy that the like the beat up the other person's dad?
and
Okay,
went out with
got it.
his daughter. Yeah. But Taesang, he's a very generous guy. He helped you go to school. He helped you every step of the way to become a successful, educated young man. And you got a job and you go to Guam on a work trip. And in Guam, you meet a really hot, fun young woman named Mido. And when you get back home to Seoul, you realize that the hot, fun young woman that you like is actually dating your older brother figure, Taesang. What do you do?
Wait, so my older brother, let me get this straight. The lady, the person that I fucked earlier on,
Yeah.
is
No,
dating someone else.
you
This
guys didn't fuck.
asshole.
You guys didn't fuck. You guys just kind of like flirted a lot
Oh,
and hung out a lot, just had a great time. You guys
still,
did not have any physical intimacy.
I'm a good
Yeah.
Christian
Yeah.
Korean person, and I can't believe what I'm hearing that this man who
Yeah.
promised to protect my family and said that he liked me is in a relationship.
Yeah.
And then okay, so I'm this
Yeah.
guy, and I hear that my brother, and I assume as his brother, I know nothing of his attempts to woo this other family.
Mm.
Because if I did, I'm fucking pulling that trigger right away. I have no
Yeah.
loyalty. I'll be like, my brother was cheating on you, date me. Um,
Okay.
I won't. I have no dilemma in that. I mean, you guys he helped me put me through school, but like, what am I doing now? I'm going to Guam. What did I do in school to end up there? The poor people live there, right? That's not even a U.S. territory. It's no, it is a U.S. territory. It's not part of the main
It
U.S.
is. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
It's
like
a US
so it's
territory.
like I don't know. I
Okay.
mean, Guam. I guess if Guam was fun, I'd appreciate my brother more. If I had a good time in Guam and I found out he was dating this person. To be
Yeah.
honest, my what coming from me, what I would do is
Yeah.
leave it alone, shut up, don't tell anyone, and then hold it
Yeah.
inside and keep it out there.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, let's say you're Taesang now. You're that loan shark gangster thug guy,
Okay.
okay? You come from a really sad background. You have no family, you have no support, no real education, but you fought your way up to become a gang leader and beat up and killed a lot of people to get to where you are, all
Mm-hmm.
right? But you put your thug days behind you and started your own business. You're very successful now, and Mido is starting to warm up to you. And one day, you come home and you see that there's a shirt that doesn't belong to you in your closet. And Mito was in your house at the same time. And you suspect that it's your friend Chehi's shirt. What do you do?
Okay. I'm trying to remember all the names that you've said.
Okay,
So
yeah.
so
So you're the gangster guy.
I'm a gangster guy. And I
Yeah.
think that so I have a girlfriend whose name what's my girlfriend's name?
Her name's Mito.
Okay, so I think so, but I see the other girl's shirt in my house.
The other guy's shirt. That guy
Oh,
that you
my
sent to
brother?
school and stuff. Yeah, your younger brother figure. You guys are not related, but you guys are
Oh,
like
we're not
brothers.
really that guy.
And,
So,
and
oh,
he
I see
his
what's
shirt is
happened.
in your fucking house. Yeah.
Oh, and I've put my beaten up and murdering days behind me. So, yeah, you'd think. Well, obviously, I'm feeling feelings for another person, and I could use this, right? I'm feeling feelings for the lady whose dad I beat up.
Oh, that's the same lady.
Oh, that's the same lady.
It's the same lady.
I That's the same lady
It's the
this
same.
whole
It's
time.
you've been faithful to this one young
I
woman this
I
whole
don't. I
time.
thought I was a cheater. I don't know Korean. I thought you said different names.
No,
I've
no, no,
been
no.
Oh,
They're
and that
they're
okay.
not.
So I don't have
They're all the
anyone
same.
else. I have no other
No
options.
one. No one. Yeah.
And my little brother figure is shirt is just in my idiot move. First of all, how do you
Yeah.
think I don't know my own brother's shirt, my own fake
Yeah.
brother's T-shirt? I
Yeah.
well, I would take the shirt and I would I would rip it up. Just out of
Okay.
just first thing, he doesn't get to have a shirt. His shirt's gone.
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
Yeah.
That's punishment number one of
Okay.
three. Uh I rip up his shirt. Um Punishment number two, I'll spread a rumor about him.
Oh, wow.
Like a rumor that he like I don't know, like that he sits in the shower.
Okay.
Something mild, but like objectively, like people will look down on him. Get
Okay.
that word out.
Okay.
Like he always. Then I would go to him and say, I bet you're wondering who's been terrorizing your life recently. Who's been like ripping up your shirt and spreading this rumor, and I'm gonna whisper in his ear, I know, and then let that tear himself apart inside, and then wait for him to come to me with the truth.
Yeah.
Very unconfrontational. I need him
Mhm.
to admit to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That's what I would do.
Very good. Wow. Okay. It seems like you're on the right page with the tone of this kind of show. So that's good. That's
Was I
good.
right? Is that what happened?
Something like that. Something kind of like that.
Okay,
Okay, okay. Let's say you're Taesang, okay? You're that gangster thug guy.
cool.
You complain about how sad you are because you think that your girlfriend is being unfaithful to you. So your number two, your second in command, your stooge, his name is Chang-hee, and Chang-hee is actually
Okay.
Chae-hee's older brother. Like they're actually related. All right. Chae-hee is the guy whose shirt was in your house, the younger brother
Ah,
figure that you supported. Okay,
cool.
but Chang-hee is Chae-hee's older brother, and he's your number two. What Chang-hee does is he takes matters into his own hands and he runs down your girlfriend with his car. He attempted to murder her. Okay, but she did not die.
Dude.
She loses the ability to walk and she seems to have lost her memory. What do you do?
What? How much memory?
Like
Oh,
like she knows who you are. She could like identify certain people, but she can't remember who Chehi is, like the shirt guy. She can't remember who he is.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's not all bad. That's not terrible. Huh. I She can't walk.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. Well, not permanently.
Legs are helpful.
Not permanently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really see what he did wrong. Uh, he, yeah, I mean, you lose your legs for a second. Permanent, maybe we should talk. But like, were you telling me she just doesn't remember the guy she's been cheating on me with?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fine, and then now I'll make sure they'll never meet. And
Okay.
then you know what? I'd ask him to go hit my brother, the other guy too. I do the same thing. If I could ask my number two to hit the younger guy in the same way, hopefully like maybe we can get him to go to the exact same location and like walk in the same way in the
Yeah.
same angle,
Yeah.
same results.
Uh-huh.
Make sure he goes to a different hospital
Yeah.
that my girlfriend's not in, so they don't meet.
Yeah.
They both lose their memories of each other.
Mm.
This is like a very roundabout way to in eternal sunshine somebody. Uh,
Yeah.
Hit them with
Yeah.
cars.
Problem solved. Yeah. Eternal sunshine somebody. Okay, okay. Very good. Last question. Last question. You're Taesang again. You're that gangster guy. Turns out your girlfriend Mido, she was pretending to have lost her memory because she was
Oh my
afraid
god.
if you found out about her having feelings for your younger brother figure, Chehi, she was afraid that you would go and kill the both of them. So your girlfriend is actually
Interesting.
afraid of you and she thinks you're a monster and she's putting on a show to keep you from murdering people. What do you do?
Interesting. So she's putting on. She's faking it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
She
And
actually
she's
has one.
afraid that I'm gonna murder her
Yeah.
and her. But let's prove her right. No. I'm not gonna kill a bunch of people. I mean, it seems like it would be a thing I do. I I guess the I mean I really liked it when she didn't have her memory, and I'm kind of mad knowing that she has it. So I guess we just keep hitting her with the car until it happens.
Oh my god.
Light hits. Maybe we hold her head up, just hit the head part, like bump it a little
Oh
bit.
my god.
Or what else causes memory loss? Could I give her a tumor?
Oh my
Like
god.
I don't know, something not super violent that'll just make her forget.
Just violent
And then
enough. Just a touch of violence.
yeah, preferably she can forget. And like, I mean, also, I don't know. I beat up her dad in front of her, and she started dating me. I mean, obviously, this is what she likes.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna run her in with the car until she forgets
Oh
everything.
god. Okay. That's very thug-like of you. That's very
I
Jeep.
think it's in character. Yeah,
It's great talking to you, JP. Thank you.
yeah. It's great talking to you.